just go here and go there. Just go there, go there. I gotta tell you something. One day, I was just minding my own business, and I was 80 years old, and God started playing tricks on me, really. I was just minding my own sheep, and, excuse me, they weren't my sheep, they were my father-in-law's sheep, but I was out in the desert with the sheep, and there was this here bush, and that bush was burning, which was very strange, because in the desert, when there's a bush burning, it goes, whoosh, and it's all done. And this one just kept burning and burning and burning. And, oh my, I thought this is very strange, and I looked around at my sheep, because I was wondering which one had been playing with fire. It just made a whole lot of sense. And things do strange things to you when you're living in the desert and you're 80 years old and you're watching somebody else's sheep. But then something happened. The bush, it said, Moses. That's me. But it was very strange, because the bush was talking to me. And first thing I thought was one of the sheep had learned my name. Because it made a whole lot more sense than God speaking to me dressed up like a burning bush. Wouldn't you agree? That's a little crazy to think about, especially with the fact that God hadn't spoken to anybody for 400 years. Why me? Why my sheep? My father-in-law's sheep. It's a long story. Why today? And then he said something. He said, Moses, take off your shoes. I thought this was a little strange. I thought maybe God didn't like my shoes, but then I realized he wanted me barefoot, standing in his presence, experiencing the power and mighty and awe of God. I took off my shoes and I stood there. I waited. What was he going to do? I was a murderer. Maybe it was my time, you know? I didn't know what was going to happen. And then he said, my people. I care for my people. And I thought to myself, well, you should. They've been slaves for 400 years. He said, I'm going to do something. Well, I don't want to be rude, but I thought, well, it's about time. And then he said, and I'm going to send you. We didn't really say you. The bush didn't point at me. That would have been crazy. Everything was crazy then. Anyway, so I just said no go. And he said yes. And I said no, go. He said yes. He won. And so I went. I did take the sheep back first. That would have been very irresponsible. So I went to Egypt, and I thought, all the way to Egypt, I thought, all I know is sheep. I don't like people too much. But then I started thinking, most people I know are as dumb as sheep. Maybe this will work out. And I thought, by the way, taking them to the promised land, 40 days, get my own space, my own sheep. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I went to Egypt and talked to Pharaoh, which I knew as a youngster, but he'd grown. And I said, God, who looks a lot like a bush, said, let the people go. And it's God. I'm thinking, help me out here. Let's go. And Moses, Noah, yes, he said no. Those 10 plagues, sheep. Definitely like sheep. And then finally we go and we cross it was great. And then there was a golden calf, sheep. And then there was complaining, sheep. Then there was manna, sheep, very bad sheep. And then finally we got to the promised land. Oh, there it was. Just right across over there. I could see it. My lady and me and my sheep. It didn't happen that way. The 40 days turned into 40 years. And God had me do something. He made me like a prophet. And a prophet does this. God speaks to you. You speak to them. They don't listen. So God speaks to you. And you speak to them. And they don't listen again. And then God speaks to you, and it just sort of continues for 40 years. And then there was up the mountain and down the mountain, and up the mountain and down the mountain, and up the tent and down the tent and up the tent. And the whole time I'm trying to write all this stuff down. It was like a 40-year camp out. And then we get to the promised land. My own land. My own sheep. And God told me to come up here on the mountain, Mount Nebo. And then he told me, I'm not going in. I could see the promised land. I could see my people. God's people. I could see the Mediterranean. It was time for someone new to talk to the sheep. I certainly hope that when they go in, they'll listen better. Because if they listen better, they'll be blessed. They'll be so blessed. Because God wants to talk to you, but now through him. What? Oh, it's God. He has something else for me to do. See you later.